Greetings one and all, and welcome back to Eye of the Beholder, where we review Dungeon & Dragon miniatures created by WOTC and WizKids for the 20-year time span between 2003 through 2023. With this video, we finish up with a review of the giant miniatures with Trolls. Trolls are, to quote Thanos, inevitable. They can be found in every climate, from tropical forests to Arctic wastes, roaming about as wandering monsters or encountered in small to medium-sized groups. One thing they all have in common, a voracious appetite and a nasty disposition. Despite being hunchbacked with long gangly limbs, trolls are surprisingly agile, making them difficult to fight. Also what makes them difficult to fight is their famous ability to regenerate. Not even decapitation is enough to kill these creatures. Only fire or acid will do the trick.
As a creature from the OG Monster Manual, it only makes sense that we get our first troll in the first WOTC set, Harbinger. It's pretty basic, to be honest, even for an early mini, with a spotted brown hide, a tan loincloth decorated with what looks like teeth, and black hair. Facial detail is minimal, and the pose is nondescript. I mean, I know it's early, but it's not a great mini, especially for a rare. Score: Paint 11, Pose 12, Playability 9, Pizzazz 8, for a score of 40. One of the many troll variations is the Ice Troll. Adapted for Arctic environments, they are smaller but smarter than your standard troll, as well as more likely to form communities for mutual survival. We get this Ice Troll mini in 2004's Aberration set. The spotted blue skin is creature correct, as is the use of the huge maw of the weapon. We also get much better facial detailing on this one. Too bad the pose is just as ordinary as the previous one, although I do like the scale mail armor. Score: Paint 13, Pose 12, Playability 13, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 52. Barely taller than a man, forest trolls often begin battle with a volley of javelins before closing to attack with their claws, counting on their regeneration ability to keep them going. We get our only forest troll in the Death Knell set of 2005. Green of skin and black of hair, this guy is posed mid-javelin hurl, with two more strapped to his back in reserve. Again, not a lot of facial detailing to be had here, but WOTC does make the effort with yellow eyes. Score: Paint 11, Pose 13, Playability 12, Pizzazz 11, for a score of 47. (2005) brings us this troll slasher miniature from the Angel Fire set. His dark maroon loincloth and black hair are almost indistinguishable from his dark skin, with only the yellow eyes and white fangs standing out. Pose is most definitely aggressive, leaning forward with a single arm outstretched, talons ready to rend an enemy's flesh. WOTC is getting better, slowly. Score: Paint 11, Pose 14, Playability 15, Pizzazz 13, for a score of 53. I really like this one. From the War Drum set of 2006, meet the War Troll. This guy has obviously been recruited into someone's army, with plate mail protecting his torso and, interesting enough, his left thigh. He is also armed for everything, with a longbow and quiver strapped to his back, and a barbed two-handed sword he is currently wielding to, well, lope off someone's head with. I really love the pose on this one. Yellow eyes and a wide-open mouth complete the look. Score: Paint 15, Pose 19, Playability 13, Pizzazz 22, for a score of 69. Mountain trolls are immense, brutal creatures who make normal trolls look cuddly. They are the attack first, think never type with no concept of caution, smashing their way through life. We get our only mountain troll in 2006's War of the Dragon Queen set. Set on a huge base, his gray skin is perfect for blending into mountainous surroundings. Detailing is amazing on this mini, muscles clearly defined, and a face that conveys a threatening dimness. One dangling arm holds a massive club in the most threatening, non-threatening manner, while the other is curled into a fist. Score: Paint 17, Pose 14, Playability 20, Pizzazz 20, for a score of 71. WOTC finally nails the troll aesthetic with this Feral Troll Mini from 2007's Desert of Desolation set. When I think troll, this is what I imagine. Green, warty hide, greasy hair, squinty yellow eyes perched above an elongated nose, and a mouth full of pointy teeth. Posed in a crouch while facing his foes, arms to the side and ready to spring into action. I also like how, from here on in, our trolls keep getting bigger. Score: Paint 18, Pose 14, Playability 25, Pizzazz 20, for a score of 77. Blade Ranger trolls have metal claws for weapons and steel plates for armor magically grafted onto their bodies. This causes them constant pain, making them even more foul-tempered than usual. We get our only Blade Ranger Troll Mini in 2009's Monster Manual Dangerous Delve set. Right off, you can't miss the long steel claws grafted to his fingers, shades of Freddy Krueger. Face is set in an awful grimace, fangs clearly bared as he moves towards his foe. If you look closely, you can see the metal plates riveted to his body, protecting his chest, shoulders, neck, spine, and thighs. Score: Paint 14, Pose 17, Playability 11, Pizzazz 19, for a score of 61. Also from the Monster Manual Dangerous Delve set, we get Skullmod, the Troll King. Not sure about the royal lineage, but it is a great miniature nonetheless. Posed leaning forward with a great two-handed axe held above his head, poised to strike. He has the same facial and body characteristics as the Feral Troll, but is definitely better clothed in a brown tunic and open-toed boots. Cool detail, note the scars on the tip of his nose and the left side of his face. What do you suppose could make a scar that can't regenerate? Score: Paint 19, Pose 18, Playability 20, Pizzazz 22, for a score of 79. With our final Troll Mini, WOTC takes another crack at the War Troll in 2009's Monster Manual Legendary Evil set. And as much as I like the earlier War Drums Mini, I like this one more. Physically bigger with its feet overlapping the base, he has the skin and countenance that I prefer, with the added badassery of full plate festooned with spikes, shield, and longsword held high above his head. It loses a couple playability points because I'm not sure how often you need to drop a heavily armored troll on the playmat, but otherwise, perfect. Score: Paint 25, Pose 25, Playability 20, Pizzazz 25, for a score of 95. WOTC shrinks trolls back down in their first offering from 2015's Rage of Demons set. And I have to say, I don't hate it. The thinner, almost emaciated look works, as does the dark brown skin, stringy black hair, and matching talons. The dark warts on the back are a nice touch as well. Poses of plodding forward, shoulders hunched and head turned slightly to the left. I still like the late WOTC minis better, but I can work with this. Score: Paint 16, Pose 17, Playability 19, Pizzazz 16, for a score of 68. Venom trolls are highly dangerous versions of trolls. Fortunately, they are rare. As per the name, they are highly poisonous. Venom excretes through their skin via their fangs and talons. Even their blood is poisonous. We get our only Venom Troll Mini in 2019's Volo and Mordenkainen's Foes sets, and it's a perfect match to the book art. His bulbous, sickly green body, loincloth barely covering his privates, is covered with white pustules about to burst, along with rivets of blood from open wounds. Arms outstretched and talons ready, this pose exudes, pun fully intended, menace and corruption. Score: Paint 14, Pose 17, Playability 11, Pizzazz 15, for a score of 57. From the same Volos and Mordenkainen set, we get this Spirit Troll. Spirit Trolls are formed in two ways, either via interbreeding between a troll and invisible stalker, gross, or being blasted by psychic energy. In either case, we end up with an incorporeal troll, hence the monochrome, bluish translucent plastic WizKids uses for this mini. The mini is set in a reaction pose, upright with arms down but away from the body, head turned and mouth stretched wide. Score: Paint 13, Pose 14, Playability 10, Pizzazz 16, for a score of 53. Dire trolls are ravenous, cannibalistic nightmares. This causes them to grow to an unusually large size, while the regenerative abilities of their victims cause mutations such as extra arms and heads. We get this Dire Troll Mini in 2020's Fangs and Talons set, and it is magnificent in its gruesomeness. The dark wash on the green body really make the details stand out. I see a couple grim visages plus a mouth on the torso alone. Add in the 4 heads and the 5 arms, and you get a truly terrifying opponent to drop into your PC's lap. Score: Paint 23, Pose 25, Playability 18, Pizzazz 22, for a score of 88. Rot trolls are imbued with necrotic energy, which radiates off them in waves, damaging anyone unfortunate enough to be standing too close. We get our only Rot troll in the Boneyard set of 2021. Smaller than previous troll miniatures, WizKids attempts to simulate the waves of necrotic energy with tendrils on the thighs, arms, and shoulders. Should have been translucent black and longer, in my opinion. I do like the facial detailing on this one, though. So score is Paint 13, Pose 13, Playability 11, Pizzazz 13, for a score of 50. WizKids gives us their first and our second Ice Troll in, naturally enough, 2021 Snowbound set. Taller and leaner than the WOTC version, with a darker blue hide as well. Pose has him marching across the tundra with bad intent. No need for a weapon for this guy. He has all he needs in those long black talons. Some really nice facial detailing as well. Note the pink on the inside ear and around the mouth. Just for fun, here's both ice trolls side by side. Which do you like better? Score: Paint 14, Pose 15, Playability 17, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 63. WizKids released 3 sets in 2021, and they put a troll in each of them. This one is from the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and WizKids goes back to lean and mean with a rail-thin body and aggressive stance. Posed in profile with one talon arm reaching forward, while the other holds a crude club with what looks like mushrooms still growing from it. I like the two-tone of the white on the torso and arms and the standard brown for the back. It kind of looks like this troll is using war paint a la Braveheart. And I really like the plastic stands under each foot to stabilize the mini to the base. Score: Paint 17, Pose 19, Playability 20, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 73.
And with that, we are finally finished with Giants. If I continue to review miniatures in roughly alphabetical order, We'll be moving on to goblinoids in the next few videos. Of course, if there's something you'd rather I take a run at, please leave any suggestions in the comments. So, thanks as always for watching Eye of the Beholder. Please like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video.